Arguably, tires make a bigger difference to your lap time than any other part of the go-kart. So competitors being competitors, some people like to mess with them. So what are they doing, and what are we doing to catch them? Let's get into it. The thing about messing with tires is 4-cycle guys think it's 2-cycle guys, 2-cycle guys think it's 4-cycle guys. It can be anybody. It doesn't even have to be all 4 tires. It is the kind of thing that can happen at any level of racing, and we need to have ways of knowing what to look for, how to catch it, and how to enforce these rules. One of the less obvious ways that people are messing with their tires is by baking them. What they do is they put it in an oven and put the tire through a heat cycle. Similar to the way that you might do a scrub tire, which is put a lap or two on it, put a heat cycle through it, and then use it for later, it's going to increase its durability. The idea is that you're doing the same thing, but without actually having the tire hit the racetrack, so there's more tread on it. Now, there's a lot of arguments on whether or not something like that actually works in go-kart racing, and its legality is going to be very specific to the racing series you're in. I'll get into how we catch them in a second. Another less obvious way, and kind of evil genius kind of way of doing it, is to simply contact the tire manufacturer for the spec tire of your series, ask for a different compound with the same stickers, and run that. Here in Southern Ontario, there's a very specific person who was rumored to have done that for years. Nowadays, having barcodes and having the tires supplied at the racetrack pretty much eliminates any opportunity for that, but it was pretty genius at the time. One of the other ways that I've heard people are messing with tires is actually a bit unusual, and it was something that was brought up in F1 where people are putting a little bit of water in their tires to try to keep them cooler. Now, this one isn't necessarily illegal depending on the rule book, but whether or not it works, I'm curious. That's one of those things that you guys can put in the comments. If you've tried it, did it work? Is it illegal in your series? Let me know. Then there is the most obvious way that people are messing with their tires, and that is chemically. Doesn't matter what the chemical is, people are either putting it on the inside or the outside of their tire, treating it, which change the characteristics of the tire. And the health risks of the type of chemicals that people are using just don't make it worth the effort. However, competitors being competitors looking for an advantage, people are going to try this. And that brings us to the big question. The first and most important way of catching it is actually prevention. For series to have strategies on not releasing tires right away, selling them directly through dealer, it's only available first thing in the morning, you can't get more than one set at a time, all these kinds of things help. Barcodes make a huge difference just in being able to track the tires, and you know who's got them, you know where they came from. Of course, once the competitor has their tires, the series no longer has control over them. And this is where actually catching people comes in, detection. Now, the thing about treated tires and even heat treated tires is that you can look at it and see it. You can physically see a difference. They're duller, they're darker, they do not look like a brand new tire anymore. They look like they have been physically changed. Now, it is true that a lot of that dope will only work for a certain amount of time, but it will have inherently changed that tire for the rest of its life. Even if its peak performance drops over time, it's still going to look different. And that's the kind of thing that gets the attention of officials. And officials have 2 key ways of catching it: the sniffer and the durometer test. The sniffer is literally an electronic sensor that can detect chemicals in the air. If you put it near something, it will tell you what chemicals are coming off it. Now, as much as these manufacturers like to tell you that their tire dope is undetectable, if you can smell it, so can the sniffer. And as long as officials are using these things correctly, it is detectable. And even if somebody comes up with an excuse for why there is some other kind of chemical coming off it, you just can't run that tire. And the other way that we're detecting them is with the durometer test. It's a little device that you use that presses into a material and determines how soft it is. And the thing about manufactured tires is that they are made to a spec. And as long as we know what that spec is, which we get to know from the manufacturer, we can now test all the tires that come through. And if you have treated your tire, whether it be heat or chemically, it is going to have a completely different durometer than the spec tire will. It is very easy for a series to get a couple of durometers, they are very inexpensive, and test a whole series of tires as they're handing them out. You keep a spread of what those numbers are, and you know what your spec is, and as long as you record the temperature with which you tested them, and you test those tires before they go out on the racetrack, you're going to know if they've been modified or not. A colleague of mine, Simone Pepin, said it best. We're not saying somebody cheated, we're saying that their equipment is out of range. Because everything has a spec, if you're out of that spec range, you don't get to run it. A sniffer is going to determine if there are chemicals coming off that tire that are out of range. A durometer test is going to do the same thing. Visually, we can see if there is something different going on with those tires. The biggest thing is going to come down to whether or not a series has the equipment, which most of them should be able to afford, whether or not they have an official who understands how to use it, and they have enough people there to check it. At the track, limiting how long competitors have those tires for, being in strict control of where the tires come from is going to help. Making sure that you're using barcode scanners is going to help a lot too. Checking them before they go out on the track. Maybe even confiscating the tires after they come off the track and they only get them when they come back. That way you know that the tire that went out on the track was good, durometer passed, sniffer passed, and it stays in tech for the rest of the day until they are going back out on the track. I can't say that all this stuff easy. It takes a lot of coordination and it takes people, but this is the way that we're going to get this under control. Because the simple fact is, this kind of stuff messes with racing. It gets people in contact with unhealthy chemicals, it makes other people feel like they need to be doing things, or they simply don't want to participate. And right now, karting is in a pretty good place. We're growing, we're getting more people involved, and we don't want to be messing with it. So what do you think? Are people doing this kind of thing in your series? Are there things that they're doing that I haven't mentioned in this video? Let me know down in the comments. Like, subscribe, share, do all those good things. And of course, I will see you at the racetrack.